let's see. And so I am starting the papers, and I moved the revision back to November 3rd because I felt like I should be able to get more papers back to you by that point, because I really wouldn't be able to get very many assignments back by, I think it was, I forgot what the due date was. It might have been like today or tomorrow or something. So anyhow, I did move it back to November 3rd. And then this week, yeah, there is, so we're going to be starting our last section on the research paper. And so this week is covering persuasion. So there's a quiz on persuasion, and the writings pertain to that as well. And then also there's this little assignment on schematic analysis versus a thematic analysis in the major revision as well. But I want to make sure I update this so that you can submit it. With Canvas, there's a lot of things to click on to make sure that I just hadn't selected online, and then that you could use file uploads or the text box uploads. Do y'all have any questions about the revision so far, or your paper so far? Okay, so after I finish this, we'll go ahead and just do the extra credit assignment, and I will review your paper for you, then give you your extra credit um, when I get your draft back to you. Um, okay, so that one's already marked. So I think I got all of them now. Um, so yeah, for this week, there's the quiz on persuasion. There is a mini project on schematic versus thematic analysis, and I did post some resources for you to just review for that. And let's see, it says week 12. Okay. Okay, we got the major revision is moved to November 3rd of SA3, and then you have the discussion. So I guess I called it discussion on social. Trying to see if I put the wrong assignment here. Let's see what this is. Okay, so I think I had made a discussion. I'm sorry if I must have. So there was a discussion, but I think I must have left that out of the main. Let me see if that has actually a due date on it. Okay, so there is a discussion. I need to add this to the module as well. So and then were you able to respond to this? Mac, have you looked at the discussion, or were you able to respond to that?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. I want to add this to the module because the way it looks from the outside looks like you only have those assignments, but it's just a short discussion, and I do provide the resources for you to review as well. I'm gonna make sure to add that discussion on, let's see. I have to go back and here it is. I believe that was it. It was discussion. Oh, yeah, it was this one. So I'm going to add that back to the module for you. So that should make more sense too. So there's that little discussion on social media analytics and schematic expression. And so there's a video I posted. I try to post as much videos as possible to help you. And then I just posted a statement by a scholar, and then you just answer the prompt in about 4 sentences based on your impressions of the videos. That's all you have to do for that discussion. It doesn't require anything but that for the discussion. But the mini project, there are some things. There's a read and review the following article on a schematic analysis versus thematic analysis. So make sure to read that. And then read The Storm by Kate Chopin. And then Kate Chopin she was a great author. Um, she was a great American author but she was of French origins. However, so her stories do have some French in it. Um, and she grew up, I think, in a pretty strict religious household. But anyhow, this story was kind of unconventional for the time, but you can connect it to the conventions of the short story genre because it has the exposition, it has the rising action crisis, falling action denouement, and so it meets the criteria for being a short story. And then this just tells you how to map it out. You'll just have a paragraph on schematic analysis of imagery. So in this, basically, you're just kind of dissecting it like you would literature. You have a topic sentence that draws your reader in, then a claim regarding images or symbols. Of course, even the storm itself and that how what it represents in their lives and the fleeting nature of time itself in the story. The story it follows this couple, and it does involve basically that and during the storm their lives could have gone in a totally different direction, but in the end they go back to their families, this couple. And so it kind of just shows you and sometimes what things happen in the heat of the moment, but in the end order is restored. So definitely the storm represents chaos, and their lives are not aligned with natural order. And then after the storm is over, that they go back to their husbands and their spouses or their wives, and they act like nothing ever happened between these two people. And that's just kind of the overview of this story. It's a pretty short read, and I believe it does have some French words or names in it because she has that background. And so anyhow, that she's, like I said, she's a really good author. And so all you're doing is dissecting the imagery and the symbols in the first paragraph, and then you cite Chopin and the page number, analyze the citation. You just say this shows that and explain what the quote says, and then just explicate the diction or the symbols, like just requote the diction that stands out and explain what those images or symbols mean and why that is important based on how it's seen as a pattern in the text. And then explain how this ties into the purpose of a schematic analysis. And then you'll want a second paragraph that talks about thematic analysis of the conventions of the genre. And here you'll have a topic sentence that transitions from the last paragraph with a complex sentence, a claim from your own created interview with Chopin regarding how she portrays the short story genre, using the storm as the focus. So basically, all you're doing is saying, you're saying that Chopin. So you would say you would just try to claim based on how you believe that Chopin views the short story genre. And you would just focus on things like her originality or versus traditionalism. So like the fact that she did focus a lot about gender roles, and she did have some unconventional things in terms of when she wrote about gender roles, particularly in this time as well, and some of her other stories. And The Awakening is one that definitely is very, very unusual. The woman in that story, her name was Edna, and I think she has an affair on her husband. And back then, it was just normal for the a lot of the husbands had affairs on their wives in this time, the 1800s, and that was not normal. Like the whole concept of Edna, and that she was very masculine, is very unusual. So even in this story, that the woman, the power and control women have is something that's original, and how that even the gender roles kind of guide the plot, or you could say how that it's just different from traditional writing in a sense, based on that the power of emotion in the text. It definitely would be seen as a different text because that time that usually um probably most a lot of times texts were just written about you know like in the 1800s, one short story genre would be Edgar Allan Poe, the Southern Gothic genre, and so he particularly had male protagonists that were very similar in his stories, and they all had certain phobias and whatnot. But with this, because of the way she does portray women, it is different, and it does tie into how the role of women, how that's carrying that genre along, that who's narrating it, and what is driving the plot. Essentially, you could just write about a claim about how her female characters do that, or find something else. Um, Besides gender, there's a lot of other things in this text that stand out that you could say that make it different than maybe the traditional views of the short story genre. You could say, well, she gives women more voice, or something unique that say in this genre, particularly in this time. Though I know this is not a literature class, that this will sort of help you get you prepared for literature and English 102 just by reading the short story, because in 102 English, so that you'll just be reading predominantly short stories, poems, and plays, pretty much. So just by a lot of it is just short stories. And so basically, the first paragraph, all you're doing is really looking at the imagery and explaining how that ties into a schematic analysis. This one, just talking about the conventions of the genre, cite an example, analyze a citation, and then conclude about the effectiveness of the thematic analysis. And then I would like you to put a conclusion comparing the relevance of the schematic and thematic analysis. If you for some reason, you at least write the first two paragraphs, and you have citations, I probably won't count off much of anything. If you don't have one more paragraph, I would like you to compare and contrast those. That's the point. But if you have those citations and you are doing that, and you have too many other things on your plate, I would understand if you do not have time for that third paragraph, because two paragraphs will still take you a little while, and it takes a little while to write anything, because you have to read that story. But if you choose to have the conclusion paragraph, that you would just state a claim that compares and contrasts the relevance of the thematic analysis to this schematic, and then just kind of go over the evidence that you showed and then conclude. And that's just an overview. And like I said, this is kind of more, I know that schematic analysis is not going to be a thing with English 102 necessarily, but it does show you different types of writing and papers. And, within the word analysis is literally breaking down. So you're breaking down something and dissecting it and studying it. And I just thought this assignment would be good to do that. I know our thematic analysis, you would originally think, oh, this is reading a story and writing about a theme on a story. And that's not what we did with it. We looked at political profiles, but you can write a thematic paper, and just write about a theme. And even if you start with a paragraph like this, if you were to write a paper on Chopin's story or one of her stories, that you could write a whole paper just on a theme, on timelessness or love lost or something like that. You could just write a whole paper on that. And so I just kind of felt like this would be a good way to sort of show you how your theme also obviously ties into literature. And that's really kind of the first thing that popped in my mind when I was trying to find paper ideas. But we did do the political analysis on just you looking at political profiles. Do y'all have any questions about the little mini project?
No.
Okay. I was going to make sure before we move on that I do have that. So this class I do have put the discussions. I'm sorry I didn't attach it to the module as well. But what we'll do in a second, we'll just go paper by paper, and I'll just give you some feedback. All the papers that I read for the outlines, so some of y'all still actually wrote the whole entire paper out, and that takes a lot of time and effort. You didn't have to do that for the outline. But if you already did that, obviously you already wrote the paper. You just got to go back and revise it. And everything that I read, it looks like everybody was on a good track with it, that you were engaging with the material. And like, I know it was sort of a difficult topic, but everyone was doing good with showing that they were engaging with the topic and giving specific examples. And that's really just what I wanted to see, that you are doing that. But just make sure you do cite in the papers at least once or twice. You really need to cite in each body paragraph. But like I said, overall, everybody was engaging with the topic the way they should. They were doing research on it, and in everybody's paper looked good. That the main thing was the citations, that sometimes I did not see citations. And if you ever want to go back and add them back in your paper, I'll give you the credit back. Like if you ever get a grade and you feel like, well, I could just fix this, and I will give you points back. If you feel like that if it's just something simple like adding in citations, then I will give you your points back. And of course, I'm going to give you points back by doing this as well when we go over the papers. Let's try to find this. Not this. This one is addition to the course. And I'm not sure if I have the discussion on here for this class. So it's not the social activism. It's not that one. And no, it's not rhetoric and media platforms. Interview rhetoric and media studies, narration. No, that was from the beginning. I may have to, for this is the, let me check here to see. This is the 12455 class, I believe. I'm gonna click here and see. Okay, so it looks like for this class that this is the 12455. Yeah. For 12455, I will have to add the discussion back to it. And I think it was due November 1st. So I'll have to go and add that back because somehow it got deleted or something, or just did not get copied over right or something like that. And I'm assuming that this one is the same, I imagine. And I know in the weekly announcement, I didn't, whatever I put, it obviously didn't have a link that worked for that. I don't believe. Let's see. Okay, so discussion and rhetoric, social media. Okay. I will just, for the 12455 and 56, I will just, after the class, I will add the discussion back, and I may make it due like the November 3rd, just because you were not even able to really see it. And so I apologize for that. So 12454, the discussion is there, and 12455 and 56, I will, after this meeting, I will get it back up for you. Hi, Kane. I'm sorry, I just now saw that you were needing to be admitted. How are you doing? Hi, Kane. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to meet with you sooner. That I know I did post a link a little bit earlier, but earlier in the evening, but can I answer your questions about your paper? Would you like me to review yours first since you had asked?
I haven't finished mine yet.
Okay.
I'm really sorry about that. I've just been struggling with a lot.
I understand. That's okay. So, is there anything that you'd like to talk about that I could help you with the paper? Your outline looked good. I did just point out how you could just base like a paragraph on each one of those central points, but your ideas were all well written.
Um, I'm a little bit confused about um the best way to search for evidence around my specific point.
Okay. What so have you started the first body paragraph or just introduction?
Um, I've only done the introduction, and
Okay.
I've tried looking into some of that, but I had a lot of trouble with finding articles about it.
Okay. Well, I did post one article. They were like I think it was the mini profile, mini project on political profiles assignment. There was a link. You could just even use that one. Do you remember what that is? Would you like me to show you where that's at on the page?
Um, I remember where it was.
Okay, you could even just use that one to help support your points and just cite from that. And if you have any trouble finding a charter graph, just if you just cite from that and just look at the political profiles and just give examples. I know one student that she even actually put like a picture of yeah, um, the posts on the page or whatever, and then talked about it. You can do things like that if you want to, or just you bring in a quote from the page that you saw of a post or a video, or any sort of interaction that would tie in to that particular point.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any particular points that you would like to talk about in more detail that you needed help with, or
Um, not really. Um, a lot of it has just been it's really hard to focus and get my thoughts together with my mental stuff.
if you want to send me what you have, when I have time, I could try to give you some suggestions too to help you with it if you would like.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I know you're emailing me at I think it's the A 00367631. Um I myself was a little bit confused because there's the main school email, college email, and then there's the A email, and I almost could not figure out how to log into the regular email. So I'm always checking the Canvas email to see if y'all have written me. But um, yeah, I would prefer if you did just write me through the Canvas email because I'm able to actually see on my phone, even if you sent me a message, and I'm able to even answer you from there. It just makes it a little bit easier. But apparently the whole like system is you use your A number to log into everything. I think a month ago that there was still the Jefferson State and then the password to that. So that even that was sort of confusing me. So um but yes, if you just like to send me an email with it, I'll be glad to give you feedback and help you with it. And have you tried the tutor.com? Sometimes I've heard from students mixed feedback if they were very, very helpful or not. Some people were saying they didn't really think they were very helpful, and some people have.
Um, I haven't because it's really hard for me to ask for help. Um, but I'm going to try when I'm able to.
Okay, you can do that, or if you have time to even go by the Shelby campus or you can even there should be the writing center at the main campus too. now I've been to the library. When I go to the Jeff State, I go to the library, and I know there's some sort of tutoring center. It's all colleges and universities have them. I'm pretty sure they still have a live, writing center lab somewhere. I'm not sure myself. I may have to ask my. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where it's located. I'm sure probably the library even would know. Next time I go and go into the main building, I'll try to find that out as well. But I'm 100% sure and certain there has to be a writing center. Have any of y'all ever used the writing center at the main campus?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay. Because I know I've been recommending the tutor.com since it's online, but I was still thinking that that there is probably a live tutoring lab unless they did something. There should be a writing center. I'm just gonna see if this does say. Yeah, there's a writing center. So I always recommend the writing center if you do have time. So this says that there's a Jefferson campus. I was hoping that there'd be a Shelby because I know this is where we're online through the Shelby campus. Um, writing tutors, virtual hours. So they do have virtual hours. You could let's see, there's chat with a writing tutor. Would y'all like me to post this link? When I post the video, I'll post this link because there is a way to talk to them at the Jeff State without having to even use tutor.com. And this gives you resources on plagiarism, the research process, information on media and literacy. So this is really good. But there's actually chat with a writing tutor and writing tutors. So I'm actually just going to click to see what this does, if it comes up with anything. It's offline. Sorry, this chat is offline. Refer. Okay, so yeah, but you can, and also I will post this link. Have any of y'all ever visited this page?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I will. Yeah, you should be able to. The virtual hours are 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays and Thursdays. So you should be able to talk to them then online. And if you I know the Jefferson State campus, if you live near the Shelby, is kind of I've only been there once myself, so I know it's kind of far out. But if you do really want to be in person to have someone look at your paper, you could even drive out there. And as long as you're a Jeff State student, and I don't think it matters. I was thinking there was one at Shelby, but because of the COVID and everything, I honestly I mean, I could not remember myself. I know that they were just recommending us do the tutor.com for online students, but like I said, this is a great resource and I will post this. And like I said, if you ever have any questions too, I'll be glad um to review what you have and help you with it myself whenever I can. Okay, so do y'all have any questions about anything so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Um, so for the three of you that are here, we'll go ahead and review papers. Would anyone like to go first?
I can go first.
Okay. Are you in the 124-555 or 54? Sorry, may take me a second to find it.
I'm in the 5-4.
5. Okay. That's what I was thinking, but I was just trying to make sure. Okay. So okay. So your title is really good. Your introduction is really thorough, and also your stance is clear. I think with yours, when I was looking at, because yours is very detailed, Jesus, but so page 2, so the paragraph is the only thing I can say so far is that the paragraph, it's the whole entire page. So you would need to find a place here to start a new paragraph. So I'm trying to figure out where a good place to start it would be, and I'll mark it when I grade it. But probably, I think I probably did put where to in the outline. Also, you do have the chart can and the chart can, so that's you want to change up the wording with those sentences so you don't repeat the same phrasing. Um, let's see. I want to try to figure out a place where you could start. Would probably be um. I know I understand that you were talking about the same chart and whatnot, but if the paragraph is more than 3/4 of a page, it's really too long, which means there has to be something that you some place where you could like split it up. Um, um, so what I would probably do is start the paragraph with the data and methods used in this research effectively highlight the influence of Facebook's portrayal of political discourse on public perception. Because at that point, that you could start a new paragraph, and I mean that's already we've reached 3/4 of. I mean, really, it's gone on more than 3/4 of a page, but I would say, see, this can be visualized. Well, actually, I probably sorry, I'm still trying to find a good breaking point here. So
No, it's
I probably
okay.
say it was
Yeah, because
so I think certainty can also go with the chart below by statements. Actually, no. Maybe let's see. So you already have one sentence, and then it goes into the next one. I'm just trying to figure out where you could like start a new. I would I would still probably do the data and methods used in this research effectively. I would start a new paragraph there because that sounds like you could start there. So the data and methods used, I'll probably just start a new paragraph there, and then you talk about the chart, and you give statistics and data, which that's really good. Um, and the only thing I see is if you could bring in a citation. I think you're actually supposed to cite the chart after the chart, but you do cite it before it, so you're still citing the chart. So you actually are supposed to cite the chart graph or image. You're supposed to cite it like underneath with the brackets like y'all are doing. So that is correct. But so after the percentages, like millennials use Facebook, I know that some students had like figures. They would say figure A. They would cite figure A. I would just probably cite Business Insider for the statistics you could put after the millennials can use Facebook and local TV. That sentence, I'll put in brackets the Business Insider, Business Insider. I'll just cite that as your source there because that's where it came from. And then you do cite again political news source, Facebook versus local TV. I probably would if it's a article, just put quotes around it. Then you give information from Pew Research Center, and that's great as well. So I really think that's the only place where the paragraph was a little bit too long, and it's nothing. I just wanted to let you know that if it does go on that long, you do need to find a place to start a new paragraph, and then just the fixing the citation format in that one place. And that's pretty much it. And then also putting quotes around the title. And the political news source, you just want to move that down to the next line so that the citation's on that one line. And that looks really good. You did an awesome job, and like I said, you did great, and you had really good research.
Yeah, thank you. I also thought I put way too much in my second paragraph, but I just want to make sure that I have enough information, to support it.
I understand, and that is wonderful.
Yeah, thank you, though.
You're welcome. And Martin, would you like me to review yours as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think because I graded your paper already, I remember I did. And really the main thing I remember with yours was just putting citations in it because all of your data was really well written. Your ideas were well articulated and everything. It was really good. That why I counted off what I did is just because you needed citations, and I want to double check again, but I remember it was the citations. And if you want to just go back and add that in the paper, I'll give you your points back. So for this, you're just supposed to get your 10 points, but I mean, I'd be glad to just fix it for you if you do want to just go back into the assignment and resubmit it with the citations. I will fix this 100-point assignment for you as well.
Okay.
Because I know that like I said, I remember that your ideas and everything were really thorough. Are you in the 5.5 or the 5.4 class?
I think 5.5.
It's not the 5. Okay. Like I said, from what I can remember that, and all of your ideas were really well researched, and really, like I could tell you did a lot of research. There just wasn't any citations, and the main thing with the citations is that we have the issue with plagiarism, and so that's one thing we're working on with this class. Is just making sure to document and everything where you got it from and learning MLA format, and that's the whole point of this class is learning how to cite and document and all that. And we'll be working on that even more with the research paper as well. Okay. But yeah, if you want to fix it and just add the citations back in, I'll give you your points back and take off the amount I did take off for that. And then the title should still be in the Times New Roman 12-point font. But yeah, your introduction is very clear. Your diction is also formal, and your style is engaging. That was the only thing that I remember seeing was just put the citation. You have the graph and chart, and then I see you did cite sources. You actually cite it as works cited. You put works cited when I fix this, and then I'll also add to this how you cite. So you cite a website, an MLA.
I have a
That
question.
mhm.
If I have put a picture there, do we have to cite where we got the picture from, or we can just leave that there?
Yeah, if you want to even you put cite underneath it where you got it from, that is what you want to do. And so for a website, you cite the author's last name, comma their first name, article title, website name, day, month, year, URL, whatever information you can find, because sometimes you cannot find all that information. It's just whatever you can find of that. You just cite. If there is no author's last name, you don't know, you just cite the title of the article. And then the website, I believe, would be the Project 2025. That I guess that's their title. And then when you access it. And so I did add that to the graded paper for you to look at as the citation format.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You did a really good job. Hi, Yasmin and Amy. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are
Good.
you?
Good. So I know we actually started this meeting around 8:30. So I logged in and everybody started logging in. But so one thing I found was that for the discussion question for the 1, 2, 4, 5, 5, and 5, 6. I found that, and I don't think the link works, so I will fix that for you if you're in those sections. There is a little mini project, and so I talked about for that assignment. Basically, it's kind of just getting you ready for English 102. You read Kate Chopin's The Storm, and it's just it is a story from the 1800s, but it is about this couple that gets together that they're not supposed to be together. There's a storm that represents chaos in their lives, and then natural order is restored when the storm is over. There is some French words in it because Kate Chopin has a French background, even though she is an American author. Anyhow, in the first paragraph, pretty much all you're doing is they're just going to find imagery or symbols that are repeated in the text or patterns, and explain how that they're important and how that would tie into what you do with a schematic analysis. And there's an article on that explains what a schematic analysis has to do with patterns and themes and symbols. So you're just basically explicating the diction with just one example from the text and citing that. And then the next paragraph that you are just looking at, you make a claim based on how you believe that Chopin would believe her view of the short story genre is different. So you could focus on maybe about her unconventional female roles in that time. I know this story that gender plays a huge role, but I know some other ones that like The Awakening, that it had a woman that basically she was her role would be very unconventional for the day. So she does have some unconventional themes in it that would make it stand out in the short story genre, and you just make a claim about that inside it, and then explain how that ties into the definition of a thematic analysis, and that's pretty much it. If you do have time, write a paragraph, showing the evidence that you gave, comparing and contrasting those two types of analyses. But if you are pressed for time, as long as you just do those first two paragraphs and cite that's okay as well. And that's pretty much all you do for that assignment. And the discussion, you just watch a video, and like I said, I will have to add that back for the sections that I realized it did not show up. And there is a quiz on persuasion, and that will have to do with the readings for this week. And I know I posted a video, and the questions came from the video as well. Pretty sure I posted a video with that. But do y'all have any questions so far?
Yeah, I'm a bit confused. I was trying to understand what a schematic analysis is, and I read the article, but like, I just really was very confused. Could you please like re-explain it? I'm so sorry.
Okay. I want to go back to that assignment and see. Okay, so let's see. So now I got that from a particular part of this article. So schematic analysis typically stereotype as dry, passive, rough outline of a content or text. And so the dryness of schematic analysis of imagery, symbols, myths, structural relations. So basically, it's just what they would consider traditional academia. It's just like, if you are told to write a poetry explication of imagery, that's what a schematic analysis would be. That all you're doing, and that's something that I remember in high school that I actually enjoyed, just writing about poetry explications of imagery. So that's what I would just explicate the imagery in the poem, and it's very just like that. It's just what you consider your traditional academic writing. It is literature, not literary criticism. So you're like I say, you're not really forming opinions. You're just saying, this is. I mean, you still have to have some sort of opinion, but all you're doing is just describing what the imagery is in the text and what any symbols are. So, a thematic analysis, you're trying to kind of decode a pattern that you see, and that's also in terms of looking at a theme or whatever type of pattern that you're looking for. But this one does have to do with um just looking for imagery, symbols, myth, or any structural. So basically, like if even though this is not literary criticism, the closest thing in literary criticism I could think would be formalism, because all they're doing is looking at the text itself. Only they're just saying it as it is. So you talk about an imagery that stands out or a symbol in that text. So that's all that you're doing. Um, and then of course we talked about thematic analysis as well. And so that's why I put that in there, because it did have that information. Does that answer your question?
Yes, so just to clarify, so you want us to like schematically analyze the short story? Is that what you want us to do?
So in the first paragraph, all you're going to do is just talk about make a claim about imagery or symbols, and then explain how that's relevant, how that ties into schematic analysis. So all you're doing is just talking about an image or imagery that stands out, or a symbol that stands out in that text. And that's because, like I said, you're just saying what is there. You're not, and then you explain how that's different from a thematic analysis, where you are kind of making some sort of value judgment about the information.
Okay. Wait, I'm so sorry. But like, do you mean to like analyze the way the text was written, or like the context of it?
Yeah, with the imagery, you're just going to look at, again, the context of what is written. Yes. But like, so it's like a fact. Like, you could look it up and say, that's most important imagery in the story, and that would be that's just a fact. So you're not really having to infer too much from it, other than I just explain that that's a central image or a symbol in the text, and then that's like nothing new. It's just something you would see when you're reading it. But thematic analysis, it is has more of a value judgment to it. You're finding connections and whatnot.
Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry, but you said to create our own interview regarding how she portrays the short story genre. So do do you want us to do that again?
So for the claim, so okay, I did word it like that. So claim from your own created interview. I mean, I'm okay with you just writing a claim based on how that you see how she would view the short story genre. And I think I'll adjust like how that's written, because that would be a little bit too much work. I mean, I didn't really mean for you to write a whole claim. So I want to say as claim written. Okay, so I want to change this to claim written as though you are conducting an interview. That's really what I meant. Yeah, I might have been thinking that, but I know that would take that would take some time. So just write a claim as though you are conducting an interview with her, that you're not actually having to write a whole interview. So you would just be giving her perspective, what you think her perspective of her genre, of the short story genre, how she's contributed to it. Pretty much, that's all that you are making a claim about. Pretty much.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up.
You're welcome. Now we'll adjust this on these as well. And I know that I did grade your paper, and I'm just trying, because I know we're doing this. I'll go back and look at it, but I do remember it was very thorough, and that you did cite in it. Honestly, off the top of my head, I can't really remember too much about what I had to say otherwise. about the paper because I remember it was very thorough. You gave a lot of charts and graphs and data. So I mean, I don't think I remember too much of anything standing out. It might have just been grammar or something like that. I want to go take a look at what I had to write, but you know, your research was really thorough and specific. And so keep going back to the same one. So I'm trying to want to fix all these based on the wording of that for you. So I'll review your paper, Yasmin, and also Amy, because I did review the other students' papers. Okay, so let's see. This. Okay, that's repeated. Okay. And okay. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and Yasmin, so I was talking about your paper. I'm just gonna look at because I know I've already graded it. But are you in the 5.5 or the 5.6?
I'm pretty sure 5.5.
Okay. And I did move the revision out to the 3rd, so you have more time to revise it. I have
Yes,
to do
thank you
that
for
as
that.
well. You're welcome. Okay, so I guess another feedback I gave you was just the citation format and review grammar in some places. Those were the only things that I saw. This is really well written. When you do quote that, you do want to have a space between the quote and then the citation, because I think you kind of have it together. That's not a main issue or anything. And then usually you want to put the comma inside the quote as well for the mistrust of Facebook, those things. Usually you put it inside the quote. But yeah, other than that, I think there was just that one place for the citation format, but I didn't see anything else, and it was really well written and very well articulated and well researched.
Thank you. Where did you say the citation error was? I'm trying to look for it.
I think it was on page 4. That's what I had written in the notes. Cite the percentage on page 4. I think that's where I found it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. And then Amy,
Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. Wait, so you want me to, what did you want me to do with that citation again?
just add in the citation.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Amy, are you in the 5.5 or 5.6?
5.5.
Okay. And I have started these. I'm going to be working on these a lot tomorrow as well. So we're trying to get these back to you by as many as I can get back, hopefully by the weekend, so you could have it back for the paper. I'm going to be trying to work on getting these back to you. Okay. Okay. So your introduction is very thorough. And then your stance is also clear. And I know I think I already talked to you about your paper. So you see that you cited the chart. And the only thing was that we talked about like the paragraph that you could actually just connect the Pew's research to that paragraph, or you could add in, or basically take apart one of the other paragraphs to make another paragraph. And really, that I think that should actually be part of that paragraph. But like I said, I think we had already talked about that, and you could, if you should get the 3 body paragraphs, you could even with the paragraph on page 4, you could even possibly start a new paragraph out of that big paragraph that has the research in it. You could maybe even start a paragraph with the political discourse communities prosper off of engagement such as likes, comments, and then you just give an example like you've done and maybe expound on that in somewhat more detail. And you could even have another paragraph out of that if needed. But overall, you cited it correctly. You have your research and it looks really well articulated. I was just trying to figure out about that. It was just that one paragraph that try to make sure that you had started the new paragraph with the Pew's research, or you could just put the chart below. You could put it below it and then start your paragraph. If you were to start the paragraph with Pew's research, I would be best, to say like something in general about the data that you collected, and then bring in Pew's research, and then put the chart below it. That probably would make better sense to add in another topic sentence that's more general than starting with Pew's research and then lead into Pew's research and then put the chart below it. And that probably would be, I think that would fix it.
Okay.
Yeah, everything looks really good and very well researched. Y'all all did a really good job with this, and the main point of the assignment was just to engage with the topic and do some outside research on it. And y'all did a really good job, and I'm really proud of all of y'all. And then next week, let me see what we're doing next week. So right now, so we are done with the major papers, so we got those out of the way. Except for the research papers. And that basically that, the whole month of November, you do not have like another major paper due. It's all out of the way. So we'll be, and I'm going to get in touch with the librarian too. I know and we'll spend time where I will, on these Teams meetings, I will log into the Jeff State Library and show you how to research as well. But basically, again, the whole rest of the semester, we're just going to be looking at persuasive writing, how to construct a research paper. The research paper will have to be 6 to 7 paragraphs in length. It can't be 5 paragraphs. And we'll continue to work on how to compile research and how to cite in a paper. And that's basically what we'll be focusing on throughout the rest of the semester. And so next week we will, let's see. So next week is week 13. And so there's just a quiz and a discussion. So we'll just kind of spend, I want to double click here to make sure I didn't leave anything off of what I had. So yeah, there's just a discussion and 2 quizzes. So next meeting, we'll just kind of spend more time on like the regular class meeting, like where I go over the PowerPoint and we look at the articles to read that week and talking about Aristotle's rhetoric and things like that. So we'll have more of like a regular class next week on what we're reading. And you'll get a little bit of a break from the writing as well, because they're just only discussion due and then the quizzes. If y'all have any questions, though, please let me know. And Kane, please just email me what you have when you can. I will offer suggestions. And for those of you that just came in, there is I want to show you before I go that if you just had showed up, I can find what I did with that link. Okay, no, that's not it. Yeah, here it is. So there is a virtual tutor through Jeff State, and this is the link for it, and I'll post it. And they have virtual meeting hours Mondays and Thursdays from 3 to 6. There is a writing center at the Jefferson campus, which I know if you live near the Shelby, that's I've only been out to the main campus, not the Shelby one, the Jefferson one. I've only been out there like one time because it is far away from the Shelby campus. But if you are ever out that way or want to travel, they are open from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mondays and Wednesdays, and then there are virtual hours and all you have to do is chat with a tutor 3 to 6 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays. You can talk to a tutor, so you don't always have to go through the tutor.com. I mean, the tutor.com is great, but you could also chat with a tutor through Jeff State and get them to review your writing as well. But like I said, if y'all have any questions, just let me know. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your week. And I'll be working on getting your papers back to you.